dewormers or medications, we observed as much as a 51% decline in fecal egg counts in the goats that were grazing in this system. Hi, my name is Harley Nauman, and I'm with the University of Missouri Extension, and we are at the Land of the Osages Research Center. And I'm standing here in a field of Sericea lespedeza. Sericea lespedeza is a highly invasive plant. It's a plant that we're interested in controlling so that we can promote more beneficial plant species in our pastures. And rather than using a chemical approach to try to control it, we decided that we would try to graze goats to see if we could change the plant community in a positive way. We're interested in trying to promote some of our native warm season grasses that we initially had established in these fields that have been overrun with Sericea lespedeza. So we're interested in big blue stem and Indian grass primarily, but we also have some cool season grass species that we would like to promote as well. And so we received a grant from the North Central Region SARE. It was a graduate student grant that was run by Chrissy Wheeler to try to better understand how goat stocking rate impacts the plant community composition, and to see if we could use goats to decrease the Sericea lespedeza while increasing some of the more desirable species. So this is Sericea lespedeza. As you might be able to see here, it's got quite a bit of leaf material on it, but it's also got quite a bit of stem. And what's undesirable about this plant to livestock is that this stem can get quite woody as it matures. And so it's most palatable to livestock when it's at a very immature stage. One of the other characteristics about this plant is the production of the chemical compounds, the condensed tannins, that will actually make this plant bitter to the taste to livestock. And so that can decrease the palatability of the plant as well. And so even with livestock on these Sericea pastures, or these Sericea invaded pastures, you may not get much utilization out of this plant for those negative characteristics. However, goats tend to have quite a preference for this plant, and what they will do is they'll come in here and they'll strip off all of these leaves, browse off all of these leaves, and they can get pretty good utilization out of it. And so that'd be the preferred animal species that I would say we would use in an effort to try to get some control and some utilization on pastures that are highly invaded with Sericea lespedeza. So what we did is we had 3 different stocking rates. We had, basically what would be the equivalent of a high, medium, and low stocking rate of goats on the Sericea in this field. We grazed those goats for a 2-month period, rotating around as forage availability dictated. Following our season of grazing, we came back to measure the plant community composition to determine if we had observed a reduction in the Sericea lespedeza and a subsequent increase in some of the more desirable species compared to our baseline forage community counts in this field. And so after only 1 season of grazing, some of the observations that we had are that we actually did not decrease the population of Sericea in this field. However, we did observe increases in native warm season grasses. We did observe increases in some of our cool season grasses. And what we think is caused that is that we did also observe some decreases in some of the maybe less desirable plants that were also in this pasture, such as the sedges. Now, one of the interesting things about Sericea lespedeza is that this plant produces chemical compounds called condensed tannins, and those tannins have been proven to be anti-parasitic in small ruminants such as sheep and goats. And so at the beginning of our study, we measured the fecal egg counts to determine the parasite loads that the goats had as we started grazing them on this pasture. Following our grazing period, we measured the fecal egg counts again, and so we did actually observe that with no anthelmintic control, no dewormers or medications, we observed as much as a 51% decline in fecal egg counts in the goats that were grazing in this system. So that's something to be said for positive benefits of having Sericea lespedeza and small ruminants together, is it works as a natural anti-parasitic. And so that was one of probably the greatest benefits that we saw to grazing goats on these pastures in this system. So we hope to continue doing this goat grazing work on the Sericea to see how we might impact the population of the invasive species over time. So be sure to check back in with us to see how we're doing on that.